Hello students, in this lecture number 6 we are going to see certain topics. We are going to check about the DBMS languages, what are the different types of languages. Then we will see about the DBMS interfaces and we will see about the database system utilities. So these are the three different topics that we are going to cover. The first is we begin our study with the DBMS language. When we say about the DBMS languages, then we are having the certain types of languages that are being supported by the database management system. What are the different types of languages? That is the data definition language called as DDL in short, storage definition language SDL, view definition language that is VDL, and the data manipulation language. So these are the different types of languages through which the DBMS actually works or actually provides us an environment so that a user can work efficiently. We are going to discuss these four different types of languages one by one. First is the data definition language. When we say about the data definition language, that is DDL, then we are having DDL that is used as in many DBMSs where no strict restriction of level is being maintained, and if there is no strict restriction, then we prefer to use the DDL. Secondly, it is used by the DBA and database designers for representing, for defining the internal and the conceptual levels. So we find the use of the DDL for the two specific purposes. Next is the storage definition language. The second type of language that is being used by the DBMS is the SDL. What is the purpose of using the SDL? It is used when clear separation is maintained to specify only the internal schema. We have seen that we are having the three types of architecture, three schema architecture. At the top is the higher level, then we are having the conceptual level, and the next is the internal level. Now SDL is used only to have a internal schema representation. That means when the clear separation is maintained, then SDL is preferred. The mapping between the two schema can be done in either of the two. So this is the utilization or use of the SDL language. Next is the VDL language. The VDL specifies the user views and their mapping to the conceptual schema. The VDL is basically needed when we are interested to show the mapping of the conceptual schema and their respective user views. In relational DBMS, SQL is used in the role of VDL to define user or application views as results of predefined query. So this is the view definition language that clearly specifies that how we are going to define the concept of VDL. Next is the data manipulation language. When we say about the data manipulation language or the DML in short, the use we see that it is needed for typical manipulations that include the retrieval, insertion, deletion and modification of the data. So the basic purpose of using the DML is for the insertion operation, for the retrieval operation, deletion operation and modification that are being needed for the data inside in the DBMS. Similarly, when we say that DML commands can be embedded in a general purpose programming language. So we find the second application of the DML as a data sub-language where their commands which are general purpose can be utilized in a programming language. Alternatively, if we see that the DML commands can be applied directly in any query language. So they are standalone type. DML commands can be applied directly in any query languages. Now when we say about the types of the DML, for the different types of applications or the purposes or the characteristics that the DML specify, we came to the point that DML is of two types, high level DML and the low level DML. High level is also called by another name, that is non-procedural DML, and the second type, that is low level, is also called as the procedural DML. So high level or the non-procedural DML describes what data to be retrieved rather than how to retrieve. So high level specifies and focuses only on the data retrieval rather than how to retrieve. That means which thing we need to retrieve inside in the data rather than focusing on how to retrieve is the DML, that is high level or non-procedural type. It processes many records at a time. That is a second important point to note, that is the characteristics of the DML. First type, that is high level. Thirdly, SQL is a high level non-procedural DML. So these are the three important points to note about the first type of DML, that is high level or non-procedural DML. Okay students. Second is the low level. When we say about the low level or procedural DML, it needs to construct for both what to retrieve and what to retrieve. That means basically low level focuses on both what and how to retrieve. These are the two important things that are being specified by the second type of language, that is the second category of DML, that is the low level. It uses the looping like programming language, and it accesses only one record at a time. So this is the second type, that is the DML that represents the concept of low level or the DML. Clear? Next is the DBMS interfaces. When we say about the DBMS interfaces, then we are having these interfaces that are representing the standalone query language interface. We are having the programmer interface. We are for embedding the DML in the programming language approach. And when we say about the interface that the programmer uses for embedding the concept of DML, that means it is a pre-compiler approach, it is a procedure call approach, it is a user-friendly interface. So in short, we can say that these DBMS interfaces are user-friendly. They are menu-based, they are graphics-based, they are form-based, and they are natural languages. So we can say that it is these interfaces through which the DBMS actually communicate with the user and provide many things that are being needed by the user from the database. So DBMS interface works in between the user and the database on the basis of the natural language, form-based, GUI-based, menu-based, speech as the input and output, also for the web browser as an interface. Now if we see about the other points, then we are having certain parametric interfaces using the function keys, and it is being needed, this type of interface is needed for report generation, for interfaces for the DBA. It is also being needed for creating accounts, granting authorization, setting parameters for the system, and changing the schema or the access path. So this is the basic utilization of the concept of DBMS interfaces. Okay. Now if we see about the simple representation of the different components that are working inside in the DBMS. So this diagram completely specifies each and everything. It is a component module of the DBMS where the dotted lines show access that are under the control of stored data manager. Now if you see, it is having this first part, that is the DDL statement. Second, it is having the privilege command. It is having the interactive query. It is having the algorithm program and the various things that are being connected. In short, if we see, we are having first as the role of DBA. The DBA staff is responsible for creating the DDL statement and the privilege command. Second is the role of casual user, who are interested for only interacting with the DBMS with the form of a query. Third is the application programmer. That means application programmers create the application program which are being taken as a precompiled for the DML statement. And fourth type of user which are entirely needed for the DBMS is the parametric user. Now these four different types of users are having their different approaches. For example, the DBA is responsible for creating the DDL statement which enters into the DDL compiler. That means these statements act as input for the compiler, which processes and transfers the request to the stored system catalog data dictionary. Finally, which enters and stored into the stored database. Similarly, the second approach for which the DBA works is privilege command. The DBA specifies the privilege command which is being needed by the runtime database processor to store the respective values. Now in between we see that we are having the second category, that is the casual user, which is having the interactive query. These interactive query is being processed by the query compiler. After execution, it enters to the runtime database processor and finally transfers the value to the database. Clear? Similarly, the application programmer creates the pre-compiler on the basis of the DML statement, which the DML compiler takes, execute. Finally, it is being taken by the compiled transaction and execution begins by the processor. Finally, the data is being stored inside in the database. So what happened in this? We are having the parametric users also who are responsible for the CAN transaction. In between if we see, we are having this dotted representation. अगर आप ये पूरा dotted triangle ये rectangular box देखें, तो ये डॉटेड रेक्टेंगुलर बॉक्स क्या है, इन यूज़र्स के कंपोनेंट्स कैसे काम करते हैं ये हमें बताता है। आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं पहला DBA स्टाफ की अप्रोच क्या थी, DDL कंपाइलर को जनरेट करना, कंपाइलर से एग्जीक्यूशन होता है, प्रोसेसर एक्टिवेट होता है और डेटाबेस में डेटा स्टोर कर देता है। यहाँ पे हमारे पास बीच में एक स्टोर डेटा मैनेजर भी काम कर रहा है, आप ये देख रहे हैं, दिस डेटा मैनेजर जो कि डॉटेड लाइन से शो कर रहा है, वो इस DDL कंपाइलर और सिस्टम कैटलॉग के बीच में काम कर रहा है। We are having the stored data manager which is responsible for actually making the query, making the execution easy for the system catalog and finally transferring the data in the runtime database processor. So ultimately everything is going to be stored inside in the database, and we have seen that there is a role of concurrency control software also that is actually working and storing the values inside in the database. So we can see what we can see, that it is a component module. We are having the module, this is the first module, this is the second module, this is the third module and this is the fourth module, and every module is divided into the component. Okay, अगर मैं पहले मॉड्यूल की बात करूँ DBA स्टाफ की, तो यहाँ पे मेरे पास ये उसके मॉड्यूल्स हैं और हर मॉड्यूल अपने आप में कंट्रोल कैसे हो रहा है, किस तरीके से काम कर रहा है, ये हमें ये डायग्राम बता रहा है। क्लियर? नेक्स्ट इज the database system utilities. There are certain types of utilities that also works. Why we need the utilities? To provide the function such as loading the data stored in the files into the database, to provide the backup for the database periodically, for reorganizing the database file structure, for report generation, for performance monitoring utilities. There are also certain functions like sorting, user monitoring, data compression, etc. that are being provided by these database system utilities. So we need the utilities for providing these essential functions. Next is the data dictionary or the repository. We are having certain types of data dictionary and repository also that works. Like it is used to store the schema description and other information like the design decision, application program description, user information. Similarly, we are having the active, it is of two type, active and the passive. The active data dictionary is accessed by the DBMS software and by the user, while the passive data dictionary is accessed by the DBA only. So this is the active and the passive difference, that the active is accessed by the DBMS and the DBA both, while passive is being used by the DBA only. Now next is the classification of DBMS. Once we have seen about the different aspects of the interfaces and the component module along with the system utilities, the next important thing is to study about the classification of DBMS. That means how the DBMS can be classified. If we look about the classification for the DBMS on the basis of data model, then we are having the two approaches that are being defined. The first one is the traditional approach and the second one is the emerging approach. If we see about the traditional approach, then we are having the relational network and the hierarchical type of database management systems. While if we see about the emerging approach, then we are having the object oriented or the object relational based approach. So this is the first classification that we obtained for the DBMS on the basis of the data model. Similarly, if we see the other classification, then it could be either single user or centralized. Single user typically used with microcomputer or the multi-computer. Most DBMSs are generally being utilized for one user. When we say about the centralized user, that means we use the single computer with one database, but we can also use the distributed type which uses the multiple users and the multiple database. So other classifications means either we are creating the DBMS for the single user or the multi-user. That is the first point of difference. Second is either we are using the DBMS for the centralized where our the thing is being stored at a central place, or we are creating the database management system for the distributed approach. Now when we say about the distributed, which is also called by another name, that is the client server based, since they totally do not support the distributed environment, rather the server support the set of client. So distributed means the client server where there can be any number of clients who are entirely being responsible for taking permissions, taking or transferring the storage of any data type with the server. Whenever the communication happens, it happens between the client and the server mode only. So this is all about the classification of the database management system. Okay, thank you.